ebusuafo ye church amunina aha GH Politics Avenue. Ahana all the trending political stories in Ghana unsa ebekan. Na ne story am de brami edutwam na yesonko. Eye nche bia na Kpandai abato ekoso ewo 2024 MP die no wantwi aba ho na NPP na wini ye na NDC parliamentary candidate na ede court no de court no na afei na judge no ede atemu aba se sa Kpandai parliamentary abato na eto ye no yesa nkoto no foforo na we na NPP munu yakum omso monte ase adenti na esese yesa akoto aban foforo na we na eba no bi e ka de open obi e che na adwen ana obi mpo akwakwase Bantima constituency na eye honorable Francis Asensu Boachi na wo no eho mpo so wanhwe ya na enye ya abato ba ho a ombetimi agisit na free nsem ejo no sa asem se ya ba onka na ntum no mia na no enye sa on no Bantima na owo na emfa ho se Bantima wo Asantima mu NDC ba be contest Bantima no maji seat no e de free NPP nsem enti Bantima Asensu Boachi omia na no na onye di omien ko tie video ne ba the Addo at all with the Mahama.
Kpandai court judgment a buy or Kpandai constituency no ho. Na ebehwa a majority a minority leader mo fenche minority leader afa yon marking nsem bi o kan say judiciary system ne kangaroo judiciary na ma judge ne hwe na shameful and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama no yankwe na yankwe hwe hawa honorable lawyer ni mapa Addo Tamaklo CEO edema MP or church nsem no mo yenti na yenhwemra.
The laws of this country allows a person who is not happy with the outcome of parliamentary election to have that challenged. I think I need to put a certain historical context to it, maybe factual. If you recall, immediately after the declaration, our candidate, Daniel Nsala, went to the court, the High Court in Tamale. When he filed the petition, lawyers for Mr. Or Honorable Matthew Yindam actually applied to the court to have it struck out as being premature. And their contention was that at that time, our candidate should have waited for the gazetting of the result before mounting the petition action. So quickly the lawyers withdrew the petition so filed and waited until the Electoral Commission itself now gave an indication that on the 6th of January, this is the Gazette notification. So in an affidavit deposed to by Matthew Yindam himself, he attached what he claimed to be the Gazette by the Electoral Commission. He attached it to his application. Now this application that Matthew Yindam actually put before the court, subsequent to that, the MP, that's the NDC parliamentary candidate, now issued a fresh, now issued a fresh petition after this Gazette. And if you look at the deposition by Matthew Yindam, one of the things that he said in his affidavit in support, which is sworn to, and you see, when we say deposition, you swear to. What it means is that if you lie, you risk perjury. Now, in the deposition that he put before the High Court, one of the things that he said is that I just want to read that available records show that the parliamentary election results of 7 December 2024 nationwide, including that of Kpandai constituency, were published in the Gazette or gazetted by the Electoral Commission on 6 January 2025. Attached here too and marked as Exhibit this is the page of the Gazette relative to Kpandai constituency, a soft copy attached here too. So pursuant to this, the NDC candidate then withdrew the application, the petition, and refiled it based on the 6th of January Gazette notification. Now, after the High Court in Tamale had delivered its judgment, after calling witnesses, both the Electoral Commission came to testify, he himself testified, through his witnesses, and our candidate equally testified. The High Court judge in Tamale delivered the judgment. Now you are the Supreme Court saying that at the time the NDC candidate filed the petition, the 21 days gestation, the 21-day period had elapsed. And for that matter, the High Court was bereft of jurisdiction. I've just read the affidavit deposed to by Windam, where he himself swore to the court that on my honor, the Kpandai Gazette relative to Kpandai constituency declaration is 6th of January. Now you are before the Supreme Court. Now telling the Supreme Court that no. It is not on the 6th. I lied. I've engaged in perjury. And so look, the deposition is before a superior court, the High Court. Always remember that an application for certiorari is a discretionary remedy. So even when you have satisfied all, the court can still deny you based on your conduct. And when you have deposed to an affidavit telling the High Court subsequently that I lied, that when I told the High Court in my affidavit that the declaration and the gazetting was on the 6th of January 2024, I peddled on truth before the High Court. How can you do this?
Inti lawyer Energy Tamaklo Osanye CEO Dema National Petroleum Authority no na yete nenka enchechuma echim efa no judgment ba efa Kpandai constituency abatwa yesi yenkod rerun ho na yebesan I revisit over afenyo marking the press conference or okasa fa sa Kpandai elections dispute no ho na okase court no judge no shameful judgment no de buy no mekam what the yanko hembra na ya hwenchim no.
The judiciary must know that their actions and inactions to serve the interests of whoever their paymaster is has the tendency of destroying our peaceful republic. We will not mince words. They can conspire to call us one by one for a so-called contempt of courts. We are criticizing their shameful conduct. We are not afraid. We are ready to be in Insawum for their so-called contempt. The world will see their disgraceful conduct. We will not sit aloof and allow them to undermine the very rule of law that they are supposed to protect. How can a judge who calls himself a judge sit in court and misconduct himself in such a manner and expect the country to be quiet? Now here is where the matter becomes even more extraordinary. This order, an order with massive political, legal and democratic consequences, was pronounced without the court's full judgments, as I've stated supra. There were no written reasons, no factual findings, no legal analysis, just a naked directive issued into the public domain. And the whole constituency is now being told that there must be a rerun. I am a practicing lawyer of experience at the bar. I understand that courts occasionally deliver rulings with reasons to follow. But such a practice is the exception, not the rule. And it is never an acceptable approach when the stakes are this high.
Enti enona ye minority leader Honorable Afenyoma Ken and some kind de fa judiciary no ho any judgment a buy fan Kpandai a rerun ho. Yen sankore na yenti lawyer Edudi Tamaklo no so nensama odi a Afenyoma Ken and no say judiciary system na kay kangaroo. Yen hwe na yenti asamo kan fa.
When I heard my learned senior Afenyoma Ken make that statement and described the whole thing as kangaroo, I felt pain within me. Look, I am not speaking about somebody's lived experience, my own experience. Look, I recall vividly our MP for Asimov, Jachi Kwesen. At the time Jachi Kwesen, this thing came. Remember that we're going to have the speaker's election on the 6th of January, the 9th. So,
of 2021.
Yes. The High Court judge
2024
in Cape Coast, there was supposed to be a demonstration in Winneba. So the High Court judge in Cape Coast was given a special warrant, listen carefully, was given a special warrant to go and hear an injunction application to restrain the MDC supporters. Then they brought an ex parte application for injunction to restrain Jachi Kwesen. When the judge saw it, he said, oh, this one should come on notice because you are seeking to restrain a member of parliament duly elected. Guess what happened? Our law firm represented Mr. Jachi Kwesen. Myself and my senior Amaliba worked on that thing.
The case?
The case. So we quickly filed affidavit in opposition to the injunction application before the High Court judge in Cape Coast. Guess what happened? We were clear because we had raised certain critical constitutional issues. That one, Article 94, which has to do, he owes allegiance to no other country but Ghana, requires constitutional interpretation. But because the last time it came up was Bilson and Rawlings, where the High Court judge took the view that the question as to whether a person owes allegiance to a country other than Ghana simply means that you cannot stop the Rawlings from contesting the 1992 election because in your view, Bilson's claim was that Rawlings' father was a Scottish and therefore he was a dual national. The High Court judge, Bonzi, took the view that having served in the Ghana army and having become head of state for almost 11 years, it was ridiculous for anybody to now come and say that Jerry Rawlings was a dual national and for that man. So we felt that this was an opportunity for the Supreme Court to construe what it means when you say a person owes allegiance to a country other than Ghana. So in our affidavit in opposition, we raised those constitutional matters. Guess what? The day we went to the High Court on the 6th of January in the morning for the ruling on the injunction, we got to court only for the judge to say that he is granted the injunction. Listen, no, he's granted the injunction to restrain Jachi Kwesen.
Was he untoward?
From 1972, even Moro, Igala, and the rest, there had never been any instance where, prior to the hearing of an election petition and concluding, the MP elect had been restrained. Because we did the legal research, there was no search. Guess what? The judge restrained us, and this is where it gets interesting. But the day before, I had a senior party official called me and said, Edwigi, I've worked within the national security setup. My intel shows that the injunction will be granted. So I said, senior, it cannot be. He said, no, Edwigi, leave that one to me. I've worked with the national security of this country. This is where my intel within government sources. So the injunction will be granted. So prepare. So myself and my senior prepared our notice of appeal and stay of execution before we went to court in Cape Coast. So what the judge was reading, listen, what the judge was reading the injunction ruling, we quickly stepped out to go and file the notice of appeal and the stay of execution. The registry was close to us. What we have seen in this country, my lady senior Afenyoma Ken had no idea.
Enti lawyer
the minority leader and his party, if I want to remind them, paid $29 million for an Indian contractor as mobilization to build a road between Savelugu and Walewale, and the contractor took the money and walked free. $29 million. I am very sure that amount of money can pay a number of contractors who we owe even today. So if the minority leader wanted to help, we would have asked the contractor to go back to site and work according to the $29 million. And I'm calling upon the site, since you were the ones who brought that Indian contractor and wrote a contract and paid them the $29 million, I'm encouraging you to join hands with us to retrieve our $29 million from that contractor. Because guess what? One of the most dangerous roads still in our country is the road between Savelugu and Walewale. Let me help him. I told you already, me when I say things in this house, you can take me on. Go and check the facts. At transition, you reported road fund was owing 5 billion. Today it is 8 billion. So which record are you talking about? Mr. Speaker, since the minority leader brought this issue in, talking about prudence, let me remind you again. You paid $40 million for us to buy armored vehicles. We didn't even get Bawumia out of that. And yet, no, listen. Oh, you want me to say what to make you happy? I will tell you what your record is. I will tell you what your record is.
Enti Honorable Abuja Governs. Onona yetene kan ono a minister in charge of roads and highways. Onona wa expose the new patriotic party. Kwanya ewo Savelugu ka Walewale. Sa kwani yetua $29 million yintumi anye sa kwan no a contractor no India ne no yehu baby a wafa a $29 million yebetumi e de aye niam bebre abo man ni padasani agisaske anye adwuma bia ye say koto armored vehicles ahoro no susikan besinde sa vehicles ne sa armored vehicles ahoro ni ntumi amba one no abo chese abobo ya akra no ibia ntumi enfimi amba. NPP ediewu until we are Ghana ni na se wu tie me we are Ghana ni na wo hwɛ me a enya party o say so omoso cause omu ni mboa bia de boy na good news epie mu ni say inflation drops from 8% in a year up to
medase na kin ebra law akasa michiawo ene Ghana fu nyina na michia lawyer nso yes kin ebra lawyer akasa do ka sembi also by election be aba baby ebeje no bo bantama no kurado ogwere hu ebeje ne ya bantama MP eya senso bo achin onu no catch nse from express way na ye baba ye fi ha to Kumasi onu Kumasi osema yenye na Kumasi fu hia sa road
so Kumasi memu atie ni ye ko wani mebusia
asenso bo achin bantama MP
na lawyer kan
Osi express way na
me pese me boni di
yes John Mahama epese oye e ma Ghana bie na Ghana trew no from Accra to Kumasi no enne asenso boachi ka kire yensi e wu hia na Kumasi fu hia road better roads ose tie asemi issue ogbo ni statement no true ose emre mu pushi na sa denti do kasa asem no ose denti o kasa asem ni say o pese president stop so obe cut waste
let is a quantity
waste
sanity
can develop a center region to give them the better
to come no traffic
kodo ku na mahwe kodo ponkuru mankasa kura ni constituency be benefit
ye be interchange ni
o ko na ni die hu bida Eipsa ofuasia yire bida
interchanges
esamanke sefo the baba mamu interchange
shimo odan
interchanges we so enne asensu buachi ka kire say ehu ni faso satefu hia papa they don't need it because near president here no or person on cutting waste and you waste of Ghana resources and you papa we are santini or take a nana looking for Wow, what the shame? MP. Tiasamoka. No, me and wow. Because Apple could have brought in Kansu to Guma.
Yes.
China, FYA underground railways. Efa Puaseni Ade. So say China for Kwakoye road that Efa Poso straight. Road highway Efa Poso. And then road in the wedding, and then railways in the wedding. But we hear sad and way. It is Mahama say, if you have Kumasi, you 250 kilometers. New express road, no, about 198 kilometers. 150 kilometers ago, we check free. 52 kilometers. We check free. And as speed is also by traffic. I just say, as I should what you say, Debbie, and we hear. Na Mahama yesade na a waste of Ghana resources. A Santofinia Pampapa. And let us work to Skenegu. Let us say Mahama went to Skenegu. And no wonder. Yes, but what's the side? What to do? Oh, yes, I come to my Santofua. And just like Mahama to Chicago. A flog in front of the court. But say Ghana Sika. What's the Santofi? Yes, the Pampapado. More Santo Fuminti. A Shanto region, Munti and Yabani have a council and you see a Tamobio. Papa Swapa Maso. Name and Yami because Napo and I say, a Santophone shirt, T-shirt in a way here.
T-shirt.
T-shirt now,
was Santimema, who hear development.
Also, T-shirt. Now the 5 cities are shaking. And I said, me.
Hey.
I just buy a lesson. I say, read the job.
Read
we see a young about some tower. What's idea we're here and a T-shirt.
Friend Tampi.
Yes, in Tampi.
Yes, a Tampi.
Fifi, who call voter.
Wow. No amount.
What's it? I don't know what you. It's a young one was say you could buy a lesson where you should look over. Napo asa dia we here a T-shirt Santofuni they don't need development they don't need overhead someone asensi buati ama ye mi se mo kai no ama ye mu se gabi asemo kokat wa abrochiri na yamba o se Santofuni MPC ni ka wo mu say they don't need any development friend like Shanto region one from my
Gabi
said it. It's Gabi who said it. What's a Santo region? MPC Kawa who said they don't need that those interchanges and whatever. They don't need it.
Antina Swami magazine interchange.
Inti was a chairman sabu shanya mucheno.
I look at 37 military hospital.
This is
market now. I said Mahama.
That is all. That is
serious.
Very serious. So this people no more expose correct. Now Mahama say a good legacy. He will make sure that Ghana resources, a certain region is part of Ghana. Ghana resources in the water region is part of Ghana. Ghana resources in the northern region is part of Ghana. Nefaya Uma, what was all about you? I didn't know what she's a can, Bawumia, Bawumia Casafino to Sablugu. It's a way you construct a good road. $29 million and one of my Indian so you could.
Well, fair could do one entry.
Now, Paul goes to $12 million. And look was a signature project. Hey, he said it was a signature project. Now, sir, Motor Angel. Motor Angel. The money $2.25 million so on your motorway. Oje Pabam on
one chandy.
So these people they don't care about development. It's Ghana for maybe. They are penny say John Mahama on the name Abedi Professor General Pukwajimai and the Chief of Staff NDC Amayuku and you need to say John Mahama baby dear man so 4 years you have to Obama the development of this country a heartbeat and I know Kumaso and you make sure that you leave that legacy no amount of threat no amount of petition Nothing anti-development agenda be anymore. They can move and rise against Mahama and the society. Never. Also, obey kwano. Obey also basic hospitals. Obey also basic schools. Obey also basic farms. Obey marketing kits and the above. You to know what have a never obama juma. And when you baby Percy, this is the government we want. The legacy of John Mahama.
I say if your agenda one na Akuffo do musha say I want to me also obey we are now assassin 4 regional hospitals. Schools, also universities, go to another university. When you say NPP for since 1992, yes, share of mine as 1992. Almost university back on Poland. We now NDC for NAC.
Yes.
We are NPP Akuffo to convert a Takwa School of Mines into a and Akuffo the new year and say renaming. NDC we are no more than renaming. Hey, and it's these people. Look. Nipa muchawo let me hanu Asante fo Asante MPs SC kwan number by an express road number by a waste 3 year traffic emisu interchange which say fi Accra your 2 hours now Kumasi say last na mukam ko Kumasi I spent 8 hours you to fi Accra 5 p.m. you to fi Accra 5 p.m. you do
Abusuafo da mu nyina amase se mo jebre editie ye ensem ayenyae no ana atwagu ayeda mamu yi misre mo ha GH Politics Avenue open all the trending political stories in Ghana eya na abinyan and any day di kan abacha na yusu ebe so obe like video yi no wa share ama afro so nya bi we are now subscribe to channel no say be ya video bi nya bia ubinya bi na afi notification bell no no do sa aboso say be ya the video bia beto so tema on sabit makane ntem na also wa share ama afoforo enya bi no hu de ekoso e wo man Ghana amanu sem eda mu nyina amase se mo agibre na mo de tie ya kramo bye bye.